afternoon. Nice to see you all. Nice place. I just finished watching the Supreme Court. It was a beautiful thing to watch in many respects. It's unfortunate that we have to go through a thing like that. I consider it to be more election interference by the Democrats. That's what they're doing. The good news is we're leading virtually every poll. We're leading I don't even know if we have anymore. I'm not sure that we even have a Republican candidate, somebody running, but not making any impact. So as you know, we won Iowa, we won New Hampshire in records, and each won a record. We think we're going to do very well. I'm heading out right now to Nevada. I thought the presentation today was a very good one. I think it was well received. I hope it was well received. You have millions of people that are out there wanting to vote, and they happen to want to vote for me or the Republican Party, or whatever you want to, however you want to phrase it. So I just say that in watching the Supreme Court today, I thought it's a very beautiful process. I hope that democracy in this country will continue, because right now we have a very, very tough situation with all of the radical left ideas, with the weaponization of politics. They weaponized it like it's never been weaponized before. And the one thing I'll say is they kept saying about what I said right after the insurrection. Because I think it was an insurrection caused by Nancy Pelosi. This was an insurrection, if it was an insurrection, which there were no guns, there were no anything except for the fact that they shot Ashley Babbitt. Somebody from the police force shot Ashley Babbitt. So unnecessary, so sad, so horrible. But there were no guns, there were no anything. But if you take a look at my words right after, you take a look at my speech from the Rose Garden, which was very shortly after, or you take a look at I'm only on Truth now, but at that time we were tweeting and I was on Twitter. If you take a look at those 5 or 6 tweets, you will see very beautiful, very heartwarming statements. Go home, the police are doing their job, etc., etc. Beautiful statements. There is nothing more important to a presidency than immunity, because they have to be free to make decisions without saying, oh, if I do this or if I do that, as soon as I get out of office, we're going to be indicted, we're going to have trouble. You cannot allow a president to be out there without immunity. If they don't have immunity, you don't have a presidency. You lose all, you lose all form of free thought and good thought. And you probably weaken the presidency to a point that it was never supposed to be weakened. It would be a very bad thing for our country. Well, I'm a believer in our country, and I'm a believer in the Supreme Court. I listened today, and I thought our arguments were very, very strong. An argument that is very important is the fact that you're leading in every race, you're leading in every state, you're leading in the country against both Republican and Democrat. And Biden, you're leading in the country by a lot. And can you take the person that's leading everywhere and say, hey, we're not going to let you run? You know, I think that's pretty tough to do, but I'm leaving it up to the Supreme Court. Thank you all very much. Enjoy it. Thank you.
The peaceful transfer of presidential power is what sets our democratic experiment that has persisted for 250 years apart from those countries whose democratic experiments have failed. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment is a self-defense for our Constitution, based on the idea, learned through painful experience, that those who break their sworn oath to the Constitution by engaging in insurrection against it cannot be trusted with public office. President Donald Trump engaged in insurrection by inciting a violent mob to attack our Capitol and disenfranchise over 80 million people who voted against him. In doing so, President Trump disqualified himself from holding office. That's not something we are doing to him. That's not something any court is doing to him. That is something he did to himself under our Constitution. Today is a day that tests our nation's commitment to the rule of law and to whether our Constitution applies equally to everybody, regardless of their popularity. The law is clear that President Trump can hold no office again unless 2/3 of Congress grant him amnesty. We are confident that the U.S. Supreme Court will apply Section 3 as written and uphold the decision of the Colorado Supreme Court, standing for the principle that no person is above the law.
Our founders drew up a constitution that was still in effect, but we had a little insurrection back in the late 1860s. And guess what? They wrote Amendment 14 with Section 3 in it. Insurrection. You cannot serve if you committed insurrection. What is trying to throw out an election? I call it insurrection, as well as raiding the U.S. Capitol. That is insurrection. The last time it was raided was by the British in 1812. Well, 1814, that was the war. This is very personal to me. I've lived a hell of a long time, and I've gone through a lot of presidents, and this is the first one that is trying to destroy the Constitution.
We intervened in this case early on, and we are glad that it's gotten to this point so that we can get some clarity for our nation. Donald Trump is a qualified candidate. These ridiculous and novel legal theories to try and engage in election interference are going to be certainly struck down, at least we think so. We respect the independent judiciary and this branch of government, but we feel strongly that we're going to succeed on the merits and look forward to seeing Donald Trump on the ballot in Colorado and certainly on the ballot for the November election so that Joe Biden can finally be defeated and held accountable.